In the winter of 1959, 9 experienced hikers set out on an expedition into the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. They were young, they were trained, and they were prepared for the harshest winter conditions. But only weeks later, their frozen bodies would be discovered scattered across a remote mountain slope. Their tent had been cut open from the inside. Some of them were barefoot. Others had suffered injuries so strange, investigators could barely explain them. More than 60 years later, no one truly knows what happened on that mountain. This is the mystery of the Dyatlov Pass. The leader of the expedition was a 23-year-old engineering student named Igor Dyatlov. Dyatlov was an experienced mountaineer. He had already completed several difficult winter expeditions across the Soviet wilderness. In late January of 1959, Dyatlov and 8 other hikers left the city of Sverdlovsk. Their destination was a remote peak in the northern Ural Mountains. The group consisted mostly of university students. They were enthusiastic, disciplined, and confident. Their journey began by train. From there, they traveled by truck through frozen villages before finally setting out on skis into the wilderness. The plan was simple: travel deep into the mountains, reach the summit, then return home. But something would go terribly wrong. By February 1st, the group had reached the slopes of a mountain known as Kholat Syakhl. The name comes from the language of the indigenous Mansi people. It means dead mountain. That night, the hikers set up their tent on an exposed slope. The wind was strong, temperatures dropped far below freezing, but nothing about the situation seemed unusual. They cooked dinner, they wrote in their journals, and they went to sleep. But sometime during the night, something happened. Something so terrifying that all 9 hikers suddenly fled their tent. Weeks later, when the hikers failed to return, search teams were sent into the mountains. What they discovered would shock investigators. The expedition tent was found half buried in the snow, and it had been cut open from the inside. The hikers had escaped through the slashed fabric into the freezing night. Outside the tent, search teams discovered a trail of footprints. The prints led down the mountain slope. And strangely, many of them appeared to be barefoot or wearing only socks. Who would leave their shelter like that? In sub-zero temperatures, the trail eventually led to a large cedar tree. Underneath the tree, investigators found the first 2 bodies. They were lying near the remains of a small fire. The branches of the cedar tree were broken high above the ground, as if someone had climbed the tree, possibly trying to see something in the distance, but what they might have seen remains unknown. In the weeks that followed, search teams continued exploring the area. 3 more bodies were discovered, scattered between the tree and the tent. It looked as if they had been trying to return to their shelter, but they never made it. Months later, after the snow began to melt, the final 4 bodies were found inside a nearby ravine. And this is where the mystery became even stranger. Some of the hikers had suffered catastrophic injuries. One had severe chest fractures. Another had a crushed skull. One victim was missing her tongue. Yet strangely, there were almost no external wounds. It was as if they had been exposed to an immense internal force. Investigators compared the injuries to the impact of a car crash, but there were no signs of a struggle, no evidence of an attack, no explanation. Over the decades, many theories have attempted to explain the Dyatlov Pass Incident. One theory suggests that a sudden avalanche forced the hikers to flee their tent, but the slope where the tent was found was not steep enough for a major avalanche. Another theory suggests secret Soviet military testing. Some witnesses reported seeing strange orange lights in the sky around the same time. Could experimental weapons have caused the hikers to panic? Or worse, Could they have been exposed to something dangerous? Other theories range from infrasound phenomena to rare weather events. And of course, some believe the explanation may be far stranger. In 1959, Soviet investigators officially closed the case. Their final conclusion was vague. They stated that the hikers died because of an unknown compelling force. To this day, the mountain pass where the incident occurred bears Dyatlov's name, a silent reminder of the tragedy, but the true events of that night may never be fully understood. And somewhere in the frozen wilderness of the Ural Mountains, the mystery still waits.